Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Major Skull. Today we'll be diving into the world of HumanitZ, my go-to zombie survival killing game. I've been on the game since day one. I'm excited to bring you guys my tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. One of the things that sets HumanitZ apart from all the other games is its dedicated developers who are constantly engaging with the community, and despite being such a small team, they've created a really amazing game that's always improving. So it's definitely worth the buy if you're on the fence. In this first video, my 6-part how to play HumanitZ series, will cover the essential game options, controls, and tips to get you started on your own survival journey. Whether you're new to the game or you're looking to improve your skills, this series is designed to help you navigate the world of HumanitZ. Okay, I'll be as fast as I can going over the game options first, and then I'll go over the system settings when we're in the game. Okay, starting off, we got permadeath. Permadeath has 2 options to it, individual and all. When enabled, the individual will kill each individual player off before the game ends. So like if you had 3 or 4 people, if someone dies, it doesn't end the game. Whereas if you have it set to all, if anybody dies, that's the end of the game. So when it's set to all, everybody has to stay grouped up and keep everybody alive at all costs. Makes it a little bit more challenging, kind of fun to do if you guys haven't done that yet. Death Drop has 3 settings. It's got backpack and weapon, weapons and equipment, and then it has everything. And the difference is when it's on the default level, you still have everything that's still in your pockets when you die. And then if you have equipment and weapon, everything is dropped that's in your pockets or you're carrying. And if you have everything turned on, that means everything drops, including the clothes that you're wearing. So you'll die and you'll be back alive in a t-shirt and jeans, again, a totally different pair. Clear infection on death, that's set to off as default. You could turn that on if you want to have to go through finding the cure. So that's what that does. And then there's PvP, obviously. It's set to off as default. So you just turn that on when you want to do PvP. Okay, on to airdrops. You have to fix up the tower, the radio tower, which you have to go find a few parts and put them inside the radio tower to fix that up and get it working. And then once that's working, you can call in, it automatically will call in an airdrop once every 3 days by default. And in the airdrop, what happens is when the airdrop comes in, there'll be a red circle on the map somewhere. And you'll find that circle. Then you go to that area, and it's a pretty decent sized area. You look around it and you're looking for the drop zone. And when you find it, it'll be guarded by either zombies or human bandits. So, be prepared for a fight. When you go there, no matter what, you're going to be fighting something. But you could get some really good loot, so they're definitely worth doing. Okay, on to weapon break. That's off by default. What that means is if your weapon breaks, it completely disappears from the game. If it's clicked on, if it's off, it'll go down to 0 and it'll give you a chance to repair it. Sleep passes and time in multiplayer off by default. You could turn that on your game. Everybody that's in the game with you, they all go lay down at the same time, and it's at the proper time at night for sleep. It'll let you sleep until morning, and it'll pass the evening real fast instead of 10 minutes minimum. Respawn loot, that's on by default. If it's off, then obviously none of the loot will respawn. So once you empty a container, that's it. You have to move on to the next place. Some people do like playing with that. That's actually adds a fun challenge to the game. Okay, now loot respawn time. That's just you can set the time and how long it takes for loot to respawn. I think default is set to 60 minutes. And then that same thing with pickup respawn. The pickups are anything that's not in a container. You'll find them on like a shelf or on the ground or whatever. And usually that's like some kind of item spawner that's in there. And that has a little bit of a delay as well. And then you can find those there again after you've picked them up. It should be noted, though, to get the containers to respawn, you need to empty the container completely. Otherwise, when the timer comes around, it won't respawn. And the timer doesn't start until all the items are out of the container. Loot rarity, that will depend on how many items that you find in there on average. It's not like an exact number, like there's not always 5 in there or 4 in there or anything like that. But there's generally a lot more stuff when you're looking for things. If you set it to abundant, there's a few levels. You could toy with that to get it to your perfect level. Airdrops that's to set how many days between airdrops. The default is 3 days, and you can set that to a preference as well. Zombie difficulty, Default is what the developers intended for the difficulty level. Anything above that, the zombies start getting stronger and do more damage. It goes all the way up to nightmare level, and then after that is custom, where you can set the damage and health and speed of the zombies to exactly how you want it to play. Same thing with hostile difficulty. Okay, that leads on to zombie and human amount multiplier. You start at +1, and anybody else that joins the game, it adds 0.5. So if you had 2 people and you had it set to 1, it would suddenly be 2 times the zombies instead of 1, and so on. The more people you add, the tougher it's going to get, and that goes for zombies or humans alike. And zombie dog multiplier default, I think you'll probably run into 1 or 2 dogs at a time in the groups. You won't run into any more. That as you raise that up, it adds more. The respawn timer, those are set at 30 minutes for standard. You could change all of these however fast or slow you want it. The starting season, you start in autumn, but you can change that to start in spring or summer, whatever you want, whatever you prefer. Days per season, 3 is the standard. I wouldn't add too many more of that. You don't want to get in a winter that lasts 10 days or something, because trust me, that would be a grind. Day duration, 1 24-hour period equals 1 hour of real time. You can drag this all the way from 10 minutes at night to 10 minutes during the day. So if we had all this way, you'd have 50 minutes at night and 10 minutes a day. If you went this way, it'd be the opposite. Vital drain, that's how fast your food and stuff and your water drain. So slow, normal, and fast. Companion health and damage, that's their level of health and damage they do. And down here it says dog companion count. 1 is a default. That's 1 on the entire map that you'll find. It makes it really difficult to find it. Or you can have up to 4 on the map, which, you know, obviously makes it a little bit easier to find a dog. I personally put it to 4. Okay, that brings us to the game settings. But before we get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, and if you find yourself on Twitch, be sure to give me a follow there as well. I stream nearly every day on both YouTube and Twitch with a great community, and we hope to see you in our next community game night, which, by the way, anyone who wants to play in there with us, just let me know in the comments in our next live stream. And yeah, we hope to see you there. And let's move on to player movement. Okay, movement, we'll start there first. Now with movement on, W, A, S, and D are your movement keys, and that will change the direction that your character faces depending on which key you're pressing. Alternatively, if you go into combat mode, your character will face in the direction wherever your cursor is. That way, if you're holding a gun and trying to shoot and move at the same time, it makes it a lot easier to try to aim, I'd imagine. Okay, the next one is default. Now, in default mode, anywhere your cursor is, that's the direction your character faces. Now, where your character is on the screen depends on W is up, S is down, A is left, D is right. So that way, anywhere you're facing is like that, then you can just move your character around like this. This is the one that I always use. That's just my preference. Let's go to the next one, and the next one is, I believe, cursor. Yep. Now, with cursor on, any direction that your character is facing is the direction they're going to go. Now, to move forward, it's W. To move backward, it's S. Now, to strafe left and right is A and D, but that is your character's left and right. So depending on which way they're facing is the way that you'll go. All right, I'm going to switch mine back to default. That's where I like it. Get out here. And now we're going to talk about camera rotation. On press, Q and E will spin your camera around by default. Now, on press means that if you hit E or Q, it only moves that much. Every time you press the key. If you press and hold it, it doesn't do anything. You have to tap it each time to get it to move. Now, the other rotation is, continuous or auto. Now, on continuous, if you press and hold it, it'll just keep spinning. And then auto is kind of interesting. On auto, any direction, if your character starts running left or right, it'll spin the camera around. So like I'm moving up here and I want to turn left, I won't have to press Q or E. I can just turn left. My character is going to turn left. All right. Next setting, camera angle. 30 is the lowest it can be, and 70 is the max. Now 30 is right here, and I'll show you the difference. 70 is right here. You can also hold the middle mouse key down and then adjust your view just like that on your angle. Moving on, the next one is your auto tilt for indoors. Now what that does is, so say you're on this right here, what is that, 30, and you go inside your house over there, you won't be able to see the whole room very well because the wall will be up. See, when you go in there, it automatically flips up because I have it on. This is what it would be if I walked in there. You see, you can't really see much. 30 is where it's set to by default, so it goes to that. But you could actually go in here and change your angle so that you can see all of the room just like this. That makes it real handy when you're clearing rooms for zombies or you're looking for items and stuff. It's much easier to spot it than spinning the camera around to get the perfect angle. You just do that. So that is that setting. Let's see. The next one is rotation and controller sensitivity. You just set those to whatever your preference. Invert, zoom, and invert lookup. Obviously, it just flips them around. Same thing with the rotate buttons. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. Camera shake goes from default to less, I think. Yeah. So it goes from default to soft or disabled. Miscellaneous language, autosave, you just pick your language. The autosave goes every 5 minutes, 5 to 20 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, and then 20 or off. And then that, if it's off, that means you have to save it whenever, you feel progress has been made, I suppose. Chat preview, that's for when you're in co-op, if you don't want to see the chat over there. Highlight pickups, you want that on, that definitely helps. And highlight containers, you can turn them on or off if you want a little bit of challenge. Highlight color, you can change the color of which it highlights to make it easier to spot. Cursor size, I leave mine right around 1.5. Goes all the way up to 4, which is huge. And down to, see, look, it's kind of hard to control it when it's that big. All the way down to this little tiny little dot here. Okay, let's put it back to 150. That's good. Cursor color, you can change through them. I prefer blue, but here are the rest of the colors: red, black, yellow, and white. And then hardcore HUD, what that does is it just turns off the HUD. So let's do it. Turn that on, and then look at no HUD. Yeah, that's fun. Looks good. Really good for screenshots and stuff. But yeah, hard to watch what your health is if you can't see the bar. Okay, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitch so you get notifications when I go live. I stream nearly every day on both platforms, and if I missed anything in the settings that or something that you don't understand, make sure you let me know in the comments. And as always, I'm Major Skull, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.